Hi, welcome back to video 2. The first thing that I want to talk to you about is how to delete. And right now the pointer is selected. You click on that by clicking the arrow. And I'm going to drag a rubber band box around both of these and select all of the entities and tap the delete key. That's a very useful tool for getting rid of anything that you want to get rid of. In the case where you simply want a single entity to remove, you simply click on it and hit delete. And so any individual entity, like this roof section, can be deleted. One of the things that's a little tricky for new comers to the software is if you're going to pick on a door and I'm clicking on it, this selects a wall. But how do you select a door? And it kind of has a hot spot, and if you come right between the two characters and click it, you can you can select the door and then delete that door. So that's kind of some useful information, and once again I will go ahead and pull the rubber band box around it and delete it all. A little bit more information now on how to use the wall tool, and I'm going to pull up and use this one, and I will zoom in just a bit more. There we go, so that you can see it maybe just a little bit more. Okay, so let me go ahead and just put a 24-foot box in there again. And I will go ahead and come up in this direction and enter 24-foot box again. And pull this down, and let's say, for example, that we wanted to come out here, and we wouldn't know exactly where this was at, but we'll go ahead and put 180 degrees, and we will do that, and then we'll bring a wall up this way. Now you can see that the wall, if you pull it up this way, and I've zoomed in, is on the wrong side of the line. And so once again you can switch that by clicking here, and I'll back up. And let's say that we've got a wall that's something like that. So let's say that we get in this situation, which you'll do that quite a bit. So I'll hit the escape key a few times, and I'll select this wall, and I'll hold the shift key, which means and. So shift means this wall and that wall. And I will go up here to the intersect button, and I will click intersects, and it will fix that wall. Then while I have this highlighted, if I want to fillet or chamfer this, I can do a fillet. Let's say that I wanted to do, which is a radius, if I wanted to do a 4-foot fillet, I could click OK. There's what a 4-foot fillet looks like. If I want to pull this back again, let's say I want to do a 4-foot chamfer, and that chamfer then would work. Oops, I have to hit Control Z here to back up and get this square. Now I can go ahead and chamfer this at 4 feet, and it puts a nice corner on it. That's actually quite useful in a lot of different ways. Okay, so now let's say that we have our basic wall perimeters and we want to begin to drop different objects in. If I hover over the object menu over here on the left hand side and I double click it, I will get a whole sequence of menus that are here, and these are the different objects. And so right now it's hovering on chairs, and you can click in all of these different items that you can add to a house with all different kinds of functionality. And one of the ones that I want to go to is one called casework, and that's where the cabinets are. The cabinets are in casework, and so let me work with a base cabinet here with a corner sink. And I'll select that one, and you can see that there is a lot of different functionality to adjust. Now we're going to drop it right on the floor with no elevation. If it were a wall cabinet, we would put it up on the wall, but since it's a base cabinet, it'll be right directly on the floor, so that should be set at 0. And we're going to do a 36-inch by 36-inch cabinet with a 3-foot height. So I'll go ahead and accept that, those defaults, and I'll place the cabinet right here and now. And so if I hit F3, I can see that I have the cabinet, but it's in the wrong orientation. And so if I go back to F2, I can see that this corner right here, and I'll pick this up to select it, this corner needs to be over here on that, in that location. If you look here at this menu, you'll see that each node has a different option. This, for example, can just simply drag it. This rotates it, that mirrors it, this elevates it, and this multiplies it. So we'll just kind of go through this. So if I want to drag that one, I can simply drag it wherever it is that I want it. But the problem that I'm having is that I need to rotate it. And so you click the rotate button, and then it wants you to drag a line out from which you can rotate it. So I'll hover on this and I'll place a second click, and now I will rotate this into a 90-degree angle. And so now I can hover over this point, switch it back to this position, and put it right directly in the corner, so that if I hit F3 now, the base cabinet is snapped right into the corner. So back to F2, now if I want to do some other things, which means I mirror it, it wants a mirror line. So let's say that I want to mirror it over that line. Now I have flipped it from one side to the other, and then to Control Z that back puts it back where it was. So that's mirror. And then this is to elevate it up off of the floor, and so I can take it up 12 inches or whatever. So if you have a wall cabinet, you can put the base of the wall cabinet off of the floor a certain elevation. And then if I want to multiply this cabinet, let's say that I want several of them for cancel. If I want several of them for multiply, I can simply multiply. Let's say that I want 2 of these, and I will click OK. And so now I've got 2 more of those cabinets to work with. So that is very, very helpful when you are trying to get different objects onto your screen. If you're doing chairs or whatever, there are the 3 then that we just worked with. So then you can reposition those. So one of the things that's kind of neat is that you can actually work with these objects in 3D without being in 2D. So there are a different set of node options that you can use. This one would scale it or stretch the height, and this one drags horizontally. If you hover, they'll give you the quick tip, and then elevate or rotate or mirror or multiply. So most of that stuff is similar, but what we'll do then is just to rotate. And so to rotate, then we can simply drag out a line here, and then we can rotate that in any position that we want to. And so in this particular case, I will go ahead and just type in a 90, and then what we can do is to grab this and move it over into this position over here, and then it looks correct as if we were going to build those kitchen pieces. So that's basically the functionality that we have for moving pieces horizontally, vertically, rotating them, and then multiplying and then stretching them. Okay, so I've pulled out a cabinet, and I want to zoom in on it and just show you one of the things that's really cool about ArchiCAD, and that is that you can completely change the functionality and the look of really about any entity that you select. And so if you hover over it and use the context menu, which is a right mouse button, you can select object selection settings. And so in this case, we have the cabinet, and we're going to do some work with this cabinet, and there are a number of different things that we can work with. And first off would be just the basic cabinet, and so we can begin making some changes here with the basic cabinet. And for example, I'll change the back of the cabinet to black, or in this case we can go to cherry vertical and begin to work there. The toe is kind of neat. And it adds the kickboard or the toe board for the cabinet, and allows you to change the color of it. If you switch over to countertop, now you can deal with a sink. You can change the sink to a different type, or in our case, we're going to get rid of the sink altogether. If we go to the laminate that we want, we can match that with the toe, and that is kind of neat. And then we'll switch over to the door, and let's pick a nice style that has a sort of a raised panel with some architectural detail on it, and we'll need to switch that over to cherry vertical, and the drawer will need to cherry vertical as well, and you can see those things taking effect up here as we work. So then, like on the panels and knobs, we can select a particular knob that we like, and we can change it. Here it's stainless steel. Of course, we could obviously change it to whatever we want. And then appearance, that would be the shininess. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK on this and accept those challenges, and you can see the challenges or the changes that have been made in this particular object. Well, I hope that's useful to you. Please remember that any entity that you select has those options. So far we've learned how to enter this the entity information to put those pieces into the workspace, and then how to modify those pieces.